I would like to see a return to agrarianism as a social revolution. I think we need to go smaller, and we need to go back to nature.
Connecting farms, food, health, and environment, Day 2 of the 2nd Virginia Food Security Summit, next on Meet the Farmer TV. Here we are at Alumni Hall, University of Virginia. To get us started, let's hear some opening remarks from the organizers of the 2nd Virginia Food Security Summit.
Welcome to the locavore capital of the world. And I get to say that because that's what Forbes magazine said in June about Charlottesville. So, welcome to the locavore capital. We have no idea how we got there, but we're there. So let's celebrate it. I am so privileged to welcome you to the 2nd Virginia Food Security Summit. Our very first Virginia Food Security Summit was held in May 2007, and we had an agenda. The agenda was to, number one, bring people together in the state for the first time, all the people who have something to say about Virginia's food system. And we were testing an idea. The idea was, is it time for an agricultural state like Virginia to have a Virginia Food System Council? And the answer was yes. The answer was overwhelmingly in the 90 percentiles. Yes, we need a Virginia Food System Council. So what happened? Virginia Tech and UVA had partnered to put on the very first council. We continued to partner. We brought in other stakeholders. We created a working group that worked for 18 months to put the council together. The council was formed and had its first meeting in March of 2009. Yes. We are here today at the 2nd summit because of the work that this council has done. The council had the vision to say, we need a plan. We need a statewide plan. And you're going to hear a lot more about that today. That's part of what we're here today to do, is to help launch that plan that has taken more than a year of work to put together. We have a wide variety of interests today who are all involved in our food system. Last night, for those who weren't able to make it, I am thrilled to say we had a rip-roaring start to this summit. And we had great speakers, and it was setting the stage for Virginia, putting Virginia into the context of our national food system and what's happening. I'm not going to repeat what we heard, but I will say several things emerged. One is that we are on the edge of a renaissance in agriculture in this world. We are needing to redesign our agriculture. We need a paradigm shift in how we think about our farmers. We need to incentivize outcomes, not size, cooperation, not competition. And I also heard that the solutions that are available for fostering and advancing our local food system are the same for advancing our public health. It's a win-win. We're all at the same table, we're all pointed in the same direction. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Charles Green and Linda Fanning, who are with the Virginia Food System Council.
The goals of the conference, which are really, I think everybody's packet has the farm-to-table plan, which Eric, you and several people, many people in Cooperative Extension worked on that document. So to launch that, go over that and present that to a broader audience, develop some action steps as the conference goes through that plan, and then also just to have a fun time and facilitate learning and networking among the participants. So I will turn it over now to Linda Fanning. Thank you.
I am one of those people who came to the first summit back in 2007, and this is a red letter day for me to come to the second. I walked in the door, well, I registered late, and came in sort of interested, and after that day was over, I walked out on fire and completely aware and awake to food and what it means. So one of our main purposes here today is to connect and to network together. So I'm going to just invite you to participate in introducing ourselves to each other very quickly. I'll ask you to stand if you can answer this question, yes. So look around and see who else is here. Stand if you are an eater. So we all need, okay, remain standing if you get it about the connection between what we eat and our personal health. Okay, there is an evaluation in your packet also. I am sure that there will be a third Food Security Summit, so we want to know how to make it the best it can be. Will you please fill out the evaluation and help us in that way?
Next, Eric Benfeld, partner in crime here and another founding member of the Virginia Food System Council, will be with us to introduce Delegate Tony Wilt.
It's my pleasure to introduce Delegate Tony Wilt to give a charge to the summit. Please join me in welcoming Delegate Wilt.
Well, as Eric said, I've been given the duty to sound the charge to this group, but from the conversations I've had already this morning, that's going to be a difficult task because it sounds to me like everyone here is already has that charge, has that vision to move forward in this. So it's not much that I can add in the way of that, of firing you up. You have the fire, so I commend you for that. It certainly is an honor to be here. We've touched a little bit on the advantages in lifestyle. Any place you read, wherever you look, that we have huge challenges as a state and as a nation in our health welfare. And so there are tremendous opportunities there to benefit our citizenry as far as local grown pertains to health and that whole area of our lives. And so that's exciting. That's a great opportunity and to see what can come out of that. I'll be anxious to hear back from Tanya and Eric on what develops here, because it is truly a work in progress. And then if there's a way that I can partner with you all to introduce legislation, maybe it will be yet this year, but it may be next year. There may be things that we can do that don't require legislation, that we won't have to put in the form of bill, other things that enter department, and that happens all the time. And that's, to me, some of the most exciting things is when you can talk to Charles and they can do things within the department that doesn't require legislation. That's a lot easier on everyone. So, with that, I'll close. I thank you again for all the work that you're doing. What's the work that's yet to come? I thank for the opportunity to be here to spur you on to good work. Because like I said earlier, I don't think you need it. You already fired up, and so good luck, and I look forward to hearing more of what comes out of today. So thank you.
The next session gets kicked off by Eric Benfeld. It's all about Virginia's statewide farm-to-table plan.
To introduce the Virginia Farm-to-Table Plan, I'd like to give you a little bit of history behind its development. As Tanya said and alluded to, that after the first Food Security Summit in May 2007, a working group was developed on, what form or what shape should a food system council take? There's questions on, is it a food security council? Is it a food policy council? And we finally settled on the idea of a Virginia Food System Council. The idea of doing an assessment or gathering information about the food system that is already out there, whether it's within different departments, within different organizations or agencies. Well, how can we begin to gather that information to understand what exactly is happening to Virginia's food system, to develop a Virginia farm-to-table plan with the idea of, well, how can we promote healthy farms, healthy food, promote the commonwealth and common good. We really need to do what we can as a society, as a community, to promote better health and the common good. Within developing the plan, right now there's unprecedented demand for locally grown, Virginia-grown foods. We all know that the economy since 2008, maybe even before then, we're looking at ways to encourage both social and economic development. We're seeing different business enterprises develop across the Commonwealth where new jobs are being created with local food and farm businesses. So there's an opportunity there. But there's opportunity for rural community revitalization as well. And also, how can we enhance food access and food security across the Commonwealth?
Next, the organizers broke the participants into working groups. Each group discusses, plans, and develops ideas for implementation.
How does this strategy get implemented? One is, of course, making this a very clear, inclusive, transparent strategy, developing a process map with a timeline with very clear definitions. Second element, the marketing plan, identifying who are the stakeholders, who needs to be educated about it, who needs to be brought into the planning process, who needs to be brought in for policy decisions and so forth. And then the third part, lots of ideas about the funding elements of that, the group of funders that you might think of, but also other funders, insurance companies and so forth.
Our group came up with 3 ideas to move forward, the first of which was providing an assessment and food shed analysis. And from there, we came up with ideas about how to define the terms and whatnot. Our second idea was to delineate benchmarks and what the outcome is in terms of, and also seeking community agreement with that. The third one was creating a working group that is regional and consists of a broad base of stakeholders.
Group number 5 discussed federal, state, and county level actions. Number 1, overcoming bureaucratic and regulatory barriers for implementing local food at all state and county level institutions, including military hospitals, prisons, K-12 schools, and procurement documents.
Group number 7, we're interested in developing a web resource that's both informational for consumers as well as producers, having to do with food system development.
Group number 8 was focused on developing a marketing campaign to challenge households and businesses to buy $10 locally per week throughout the year.
Education for all aspects of a secure food system, focusing on maybe some degree programs at the community college level, associate degree level, with emphasis on sustainability and environmental friendly and those kind of actions. And finally, not really specific, but there's a lot of national and international aspects to Virginia's food security that Virginia probably can't specifically, well, certainly can't make happen all by themselves. But the plan should address being engaged in those processes to make sure that Virginia can do what it needs to do here without getting things not happening because of national or international issues that need to be addressed.
Number 10, we were another wild card station. What we decided should have been 2 more stations in addition to the 8 that were out there. And that was basically what we came up with, was there should be a number 9, and 9 would be focused on food justice. And there should be a number 10, which addresses balanced leadership and participation. Under that, we also fleshed out that there is 3 different groups between the elite, the middle class, and the underserved that all need to be at the table. That there's urban and rural folks in all of those 3 categories that need to be addressed, as well as public and private sectors that need to all be at the table.
Following lunch was a roundtable discussion in response to the planning workshop. Experts included Fred Kirschman and many other locavores and other people involved in local food system.
We would like to use our time with you now to reflect on this morning's deliberations.
It's been a long process to get to this point where we have the underpinnings of a plan. And I think the discussion today has been incredible in what we've heard. There's a lot of work to do to refine this, and the work that Eric has done is awesome.
In order for all of this great information and great energy that you've demonstrated here last night and today to be successful, there has to be support from the broader community of people in Virginia. And that means not only the broader community of farmers, but the broader community of Virginia citizens.
At this particular point in time, there's no other place on the planet that has this collective energy that we have right here today. If we miss the high points of keeping our biodiversity through seeds, through land-raised breeds of livestock, we're all going to miss a point here. You know, it's possible for the entire population on this planet Earth to go through famine again due to the fact that we've got genetic engineering of plants on such a large scale that it just takes one genetic viral fungus bacterium to come along and wipe out a huge percentage of the entire planet's food supply.
When we're thinking about farm to table, I think most people are thinking about a rural farm somewhere out in the country that's going to bring the food into the city where the people are. What Growing Power is showing us is that that farm can be right in the center of the city. And I would encourage, many of you are doing some excellent work with urban horticulture, gardening. I think it's strong potential in Virginia for that to be not just home gardening, but also commercial production of crops in cities. Any places that the sun shines and we can get on a rooftop or in a vacant lot or in a parking lot with these above ground soil containment systems that are out these days, there's a strong potential for horticulture in the city.
You think about how we do baseball. Every municipality I know of has a baseball field. Everybody has a little league program to make sure that people get trained into how to play baseball and how to do sportsmanship and how to kind of work together. And that gets elevated to a level where people might play at Babe Ruth League or high school or college, really refining their practice. We have incredible incentives for those who do really well in the major leagues. That system for producing really high quality talent from age 5 is called in baseball the farm system. Yet I've been around the country talking, and I've had people ask me in the country that says we feed the world, how do we grow new farmers? It's a remarkable fact that in America we don't know the answer to that, and especially when we have such incredible parallels in our own lives with sports, so that we know it's a combination of public investment, private investment, collaboration, thinking in the long term for how do you actually grow people from very young to being mature stars. We don't necessarily want to have $123 million contracts for the celebrity chefs and farmers, but I think we can learn from our own experience in sports that we really have the capacity to do this if we get rid of the sense this is all going to be taken care of by the free market and say, let's plan for what we need and let's make it happen.
Now let's hear some highlights of the presentations, showcasing food system innovations, innovation in schools, health and food, innovations in food distribution, and innovation in food entrepreneurship and business.
Wanted to tell you a little bit about our Farm to School program in Harrisonburg. I don't want to make the assumption that everybody in the room knows exactly what Farm to School means. There's a couple different components. The first is trying to include healthy, locally grown or produced foods on school lunch menus. And then there's also the piece that involves nutrition education for students, which can be in the classroom by having farmers come in, school gardens, things like that. So it's not just food in school, it's also the education piece. I think we can make a tremendous economic impact with Farm to School, as well as really improving the nutrition for our students in Virginia.
The Food Hub opened our doors in 2009, so we've now been around for about 2.5 years. Thanks actually to a really passionate and motivated group of citizens who understood the need for this organization and knew how to get things done, which is awesome because there's a room of those people right here. I'm just going to give you a brief, really quick overview of what we do first, because I think it's really important to the distribution part of our organization. It's all really linked together, so I think it's important to understand all of the aspects of what we're working on. Our mission statement then and now is to strengthen and secure the future of a healthy regional food supply. We do that by providing small farmers with concrete services that support their economic vitality and promote stewardship of the land. What that actually translates into is three general categories of activities. These are the things that we do day to day to achieve our mission. We aggregate and distribute locally grown fruits, vegetables, meat, eggs, and value-added products to wholesale buyers. More on that in just a minute. We educate and empower farmers, large and small, old and new, beginning, established, aspiring, backyard gardeners, farmers, and we increase access to local food through our distribution partnerships, through food donations, community outreach, and partnerships in the community.
Lulu's Local Food, it is an online buying and distribution solution. Program started in the fall of 2008, opening our first winter season with a very small program, started with 20 producers and about approximate 100 customer families, purchasing on a weekly basis. It was not through a website, it was through email. It was a tremendous amount of paper, but the concept was to be able to increase producer sales during the winter season, keep their sales as consistent as possible through the winter, and to allow an opportunity to provide administrative services to the producers. So again, keep them out in the fields doing what they do best. The program has grown from our original 20 farms to now we have about 100 farms with our first hub, Fall Line Farms, in the Richmond area, serving several thousand customers throughout the Richmond region. We've grown from the one original pickup location to now a dozen throughout the city, where we are building community into regional neighborhoods and really trying to meet the needs of education to customers, to involvement in appreciation for supporting local food through events, dinners, and the program, since going on with an online program, has had the benefit of being able to duplicate itself and growing to hubs throughout Virginia Beach area, west of Richmond, and now going across the country.
First of all, I want everyone here to stand up, give the person on the right a pat on the back. Everyone in here is part of a new food paradigm, and you all deserve a pat on the back. Let's get the energy going.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, everybody's loosey-goosey. My name is Mark Lilly, and I started Farm to Family in 2009, and it's not dissimilar from anybody else in here that's trying to support local small farmers. I didn't recreate the wheel. I just packaged an old system in a really unique way, and it's really touched, moved, and inspired a lot of people. But it's been a lot of work, and continues to be a lot of work. I would classify myself as a slow food adventure junkie, if there is such a thing. I really have a passion for supporting small local farmers and getting the food to people who want to opt out of our current highly toxic, unsustainable food system. We go to senior homes and go anywhere. I'll go anywhere that I can with that bus, because those experiences are what feed me and want me to help other people be a part of this process.
Shiitake is a niche produce, and I started out by just doing it because I just felt like I had the energy. It was fun. I give, just handing mushrooms to people to taste and everything else. And then some chefs from the Inn at Little Washington and some other chefs discovered me, and after that they were asking me how to produce quantities. It took me about a year to come back with an answer because I was just having fun. I actually have the worst business model ever. I take my produce in the back of my car when I'm going to work, drive to Annapolis, dump about 50 pounds, and then drive back all the way to Vienna for work on a given morning. So, I kept reminding myself that there's a reward at the end. I love what I'm doing, and it's great.
DC Central Kitchen is what we refer to as a community kitchen. We do a lot more than just feeding. Our mission is to use food as a tool to strengthen bodies, empower minds, and build communities. We operate on a fundamental principle that waste is wrong, whether it's wasted food, wasted potential, or wasted facilities and other areas that could be producing something.
We call this vision Food with Integrity. At its core is a relentless pursuit of finding the very best ingredients that we can source. That is, in a nutshell. How we define those very best ingredients is we seek out ingredients that are sustainably raised and ingredients that do not exploit the animals, the environment, or the workers that are involved with bringing those great ingredients to our restaurants. A big part of that vision is local sourcing. And this year, in 2011, we will purchase a little over 10 million pounds of locally sourced produce in the U.S. That's a little over double what we're able to source in 2010, and it's a big number. And it goes to show you the potential that a company of 1,200 restaurants in the U.S., when committed to doing things in the right way, the potential that we really have to change food systems in this country, including here in the state of Virginia, where we have a little over 60 restaurants and plenty more to come.
I actually would like to take the opportunity to thank all of our presenters, but also acknowledging that the activities and innovation that's taken place across Virginia isn't just up here or even in this room. It's people who we connect with and people who we may not know yet.
Now we leave you with closing remarks and the next steps of the Farm to Table plan. Once again, I'm your host, Michael Clark, for Meet the Farmer TV.
This plan is not an end, it is a beginning. It's a journey, and you have really helped move it forward. There's been fantastic information here today. So what's going to happen? This plan is going to be finalized in terms of this draft. This version of it will be finalized in the next month, including all of the stuff that happened here today, printed and delivered to the General Assembly, and also submitted to the governor's office with what we hope will be some specific asks along the way based on what you all have generated here today. And so with that, I think I'm going to then invite Catherine Smith and Spencer Neal, who are with the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation and Virginia Association of Biological Farming, to come and have a send-off.
I mean, this is sort of the call to action. There's a room full of advocates here. This is going on all over the country. And they're advocates for food at differing levels. I'm an advocate for agriculture and farmers, and there are many farmers in here. And then there are advocates for nutrition, for school, for social justice, for a whole variety of things. But I mean, this is a food summit, and you know, we're beginning to look at food beyond, you know, the producer sitting in one corner, the environmentalist in another, the nutritionist in another. It's all about bringing everyone together and learning more about, you know, the role we all play.
I'm delighted to look out at the audience. I've been in the back for most of the time today and see so many young people here. I'm comfortably over 70. I've been gardening and selling for quite a large part of my adult life. And all along I have said it's going to be sustainable. We're going to get there. I know we are. I started with Rodale years ago. But now I know it's going to happen. So stay with us. Let's keep it rolling. Thank you so much.